Hello, footies, and welcome back to FUT In Review. It's been so long. It is so good to say those words again. My name is John, and I'll be hosting episode 712 today. And of course, I am not alone. I am joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Blue himself. But he's looking funky today, wearing a black FUT In Review cap. He's back. Welcome back, Graham. How you doing, my friend?
I'm not bad, thanks for having us on. Nice to see you back as well.
Thank you. More about that later. It's good to have you on. And on the other side, wearing the most beautiful color in the world, wearing orange, it is Mr. Bullseye himself. Welcome back, Neil. How are you?
Very well, John. Nice to be on a show with you. It's a privilege. Thanks for having me.
It is good to have you on. I always say this is Tuesday Club, but hey, we got some comments about that. Well, let's leave that for now. It is Tuesday Club 3.0, 4.0. What shall we call it today? Nah, let's not, shall we? It's a midweek recording. We have some beautiful players out. We have Claudia Pina, Player of the Month, which we'll discuss. Today, we'll be also discussing the state of FC26 after the first 3 months, right before Christmas. I'm back. I've been unable to play, and I'm still unable to play a lot, maybe 25 minutes a day or something like that. So I want to know from you guys, what have I been missing? What should I pay attention to? And most important, if you're new to this game, let's discuss some settings and give them some tips, shall we? I want to, Graham, you've been taking my spot at Mr. Unpopular lately, I think, with certain opinions. Talk me through it. I've been away for 3.5 weeks now, something like that. For anyone that didn't know, I got some surgery done on my arms and on my hands, which makes it really uncomfortable to hold a controller. So I've been shutting myself down, took away all the FC news, and was just been listening to this podcast, which you guys, and thank you once more for that, took really good care of. But now I'm sort of back, but I'm lost in everything that's gone on. So Graham, please talk me through it, mate.
Oh, where to start? So for me, the game started off really well. I thought we had a great foundation to start off the cycle. Game was really fast, flowing, fun. Agreed that there were some aspects that need to be solved, and then
sounds like me before surgery, though.
Yeah, and then for me, I think they've went too far, too quick with everything they've done. With what they've changed, it's altered more than they've really wanted to change, and I think there's a few things that they should have really fixed by now that they haven't. So the game's good. Last night, like I said in our Discord, it was actually really good last night. Don't know if it was just maybe to do with connection. Sorry.
Getting emotional by it even.
Yeah, but it's a bit hit and miss. The gameplay, the meta, the now it's not my cup of tea. So I can see why people love it now. I can see why people hate it. But I find it more defensive, a little bit more AI controlled than I would personally like. I like to be more in control of the game myself than what it is. But there's still another patch to come out, so hopefully that will resolve some of the problems that we have.
I'll take a deep dive into some points there. When I left, they were just about to change defending to be a little bit more AI helpful, and they nerfed, I think, kickoff goals as well. Neil, how's that been working for you?
Well, the problem, as Homer has elaborated on just there, they've not done anything a little bit. They've taken advice from the community where we say we need to buff jockeying a little bit, and then they make it a massive buff, not just in jockeying, but AI defending in a whole. Interestingly enough, they've said they've not really touched defending, but the game has certainly been different over the last 8 to 10 weeks in the space of manual defending. There isn't really any manual defending happening. It seems to be the case that they take it too far to an extreme. So instead of just dimming goalkeeper movement down, they've completely obliterated it. The defending, they've seemed to make a massive shift on. They did it with the technical dribble where they completely took it apart, where they had to reinstate it after a week. So I think they need to just rein it in a bit in the sense of slight adjustments, but it seems to be massive adjustments in the game so far, and it seems to be causing an effect in the game.
Are you saying I can play this game one-handed now? Because that might actually be good.
Some
might actually
people
be good
can.
news.
Well, some people can't. We've got somebody we've got Talando plays with his feet, so everyone's got hope, haven't they? Could you play it one-handed? I bet you could defend one-handed if you trusted your AI defending enough. It's how involved you want to get with your defending. For me, who's I'll say I'm an above average player, but I'm not a good player. Where I like to try and control my players as much as I can. It's natural for me to try and get the ball back and try and control as many players as I can near the ball, and it's not the way to play this game currently.
So I'm wondering, one of the things I said before I had to take this obligatory break was that if you don't select your players manually, they just won't block any shots. Sure, they will stand in the way, but they won't block any shots. Is that changed?
I'm finding people blocking it. AI, yeah.
For me, it's not necessarily that they block it, but there's a few other people in the space that really gave me the words that I couldn't find, which is that they're too narrow in the box. So when you do stand in position, they're so close together that if you do try and get through that small gap there is, you're most likely going to be blocked just by the fact of their positioning. As Neil said, I watched the devs video last week, I thought, or was it 2 weeks ago? I can't remember, where they said they haven't actually increased the AI defending. It's just that with the better players coming out now, their defensive awareness stats being boosted, the AI is a lot more stronger, and they didn't take that in consideration when they did remove a lot of the attacking inputs. So when they reduced the dribbling speed and everything and increased the jockey speed, they didn't take in consideration that better cards would then create this situation where we're in now. They're too tight in the box. I think that if they maybe increased their narrowest, how narrow they sit, make them go a bit wider, the game would be a bit more flowing. Because
Yeah,
at the
a good point.
Because at the moment, your two real attacking options are you go to the byline and you get back across for the cutback, or you're trying first-time shots outside the box. Because with the whole new keeper movement and slowing down keepers' movement in general, they're not very great at getting across for finesses. To be honest, I've got Far Reach Plus on Mike Mannion, and I can't remember the last time it activated. They just don't get across enough. So, like I said, there's so many things that they've, like Neil said as well, they've went so far rather than maybe go, we'll reduce this in increments, say 5-10% now, give it a week, let it breathe. If it's still not good enough, we'll give it another 5-10%. And then with the attacking, they just completely, like Neil said, they dropped it all the way back to next to nothing and then goes, oh, that's too much, and then brought it back up halfway. I think if they can just find that nice, like, we'll go 5-10% here, we'll see how you think. If it's still not working, we'll go again. I'd rather smaller tweaks than these bigger tweaks that they're doing, but the game, the foundation's there. I still truly believe that there's a good foundation in this game. They just need to get that tweak. But then when you listen to a lot of the devs, I don't think it's easy as just a slider that they have. And then they did admit where coding one thing can have an accidental effect. So where you said previously that they'd fixed kickoff glitches after the second attempt, we now have 3 glitches that you can currently use to score kickoff goals. So while they didn't mean that, just with the last patch with goalkeeper movement, somehow this is now came back. So that's a good foundation in the game. It just needs tweaked.
Well, the thing I'm always wondering, right, is if they're like, I can't play, so honestly, I can't test this. But let me just go back to previous experiences with patches like this, where the general community, and of course, I've only been listening to shows, so I hear this feedback, and I'm like, okay, they nerfed goalkeeper movement. All right, it's what it is. They people are closer together, but I don't think they auto block shots, for example, from outside the box. The first thing I would be thinking of when, from a coaching or an ex-professional like a FIFA player perspective would be, hey, if I just finesse shots outside of the box where everything's covering it and the goalkeeper ain't moving anymore, finesse shots sounds like a perfect way to just get ping goals in everywhere.
They're certainly coming back, John. They're certainly coming back. I've seen quite a few videos, and the new it seems to be taking over. The finesse shot plus seems to be taking over from the low driven plus over the last kind of 2 weeks. And I think you're right what you're saying there.
Usually when these things happen, people try to play the same game. I'm not saying you guys are, right? Just playing devil's advocate here for a second. So usually when there's a nerf, people say, or there's a tune, people try to play the same game and find out it could be extremely nerfed. But the other things probably haven't changed, which also creates lots of opportunities to get other shots in. Because I've been saying from day one, finesse shots are actually pretty good. The problem morally is that the goalkeeper movements are better. So if I think you're going to shoot this, it's not going to get in. The first thing I thought when goalkeeper movement was nerfed, like, okay, finesse shots could be overpowered again. Because why wouldn't you try it if everyone's packing in the box anyways with 5 defenders or 4 defenders or 6 players in the box and the goalkeeper's not moving? Hey, let's try this for a second. So that's how I try to think of. And it's also when something's changed, people like to see like it's got maybe it's called negativity bias if you follow the science. You're looking for things that they broke instead of looking what still works or what works even better currently. And again, I've not tried it, so I'm just putting some perspectives out there. I could also see that power shot, for example, could be way better now, especially from the sides if people are that narrow. It's just a couple of options. I'm currently realizing, hey, if people are dropping back, if goalkeeper movement isn't a thing and everyone's narrow, why exactly isn't 3-5-2 a thing now, for example?
Well, it's starting to gain popularity. I've noticed a few. I like I've said before in previous pods, I like watching the pro scenes, and I've noticed that they will start by majority. It's either a 4-5-1 or a 4-4-1-1. The odd person maybe start 4-2-3-1. But I did notice last night in a few of the other events, 3-5-2 comes out. See if they're looking to push a game, if they're behind. I've noticed a few switch to it. It is there. What you're saying about the negativity bias, I am probably one of the worst for that.
I didn't mean to, especially towards you, though.
I'm open and honest about that. I will admit that I am probably that way inclined. I don't like playing a meta way. I like to play my way, which is I like to play nice passing football. Like Anders is probably the more, if I was to say, if you looked at a pro, how they played, I say Anders is more the way that I like to play. He doesn't like to use player lock. He prefers passing and movement over mechanisms. So, and I found with every patch, as you said, the problem for me probably is that I try to keep playing a certain way that no longer was a viable way of playing, which then the negativity bias comes in because what I want to play. So that is a good point. But as you're saying, finesse shots is largely the weapon now. I was 6-1 last night, and I played a guy who beat me 8-2. So I messaged him afterwards because, by God, he was so much better than me. And he was telling me that he averages 14 and ones. And I was like, how did you manage all the finesse? I mean, every goal, see if I try and play high depth and the team still falls back quite far. And he would do a ball roll from the side of the pitch inside and he would whip a finesse and every time top corner. And I was like, how is that possible? And he was explaining it to me, just the way that the ball roll, if you get the angle right and you come out of it and you're pretty much parallel with the pitch rather than facing the goal and you whip it in, it's an unstoppable tool.
Yeah, and especially when goalkeeper movement not being a thing anymore. And I think the far reach has been broken from day one, honestly. I don't think I've seen it triggered once. It's just something I'm realizing. Like the thing is, why I don't care too much about patches, and maybe that's a little bit too harsh, but when I see a patch, I'm also like, okay, they changed this. What will work now? Because there's loads of things they either haven't touched, or there's loads of things they have touched previously and they broke by implementing this patch, like you said with kickoff goals, for example. And those are usually the first things I'm gonna try to see if I can work it out. And I'm with you though, Graham. I like the fast passing. I don't like necessarily counterplay, for example. I usually don't even play wingers in my setups because I like tiki-taka through the middle, just basically build up. I hardly play any CDMs. But then again, if I think there's an option to do so, I don't mind because it probably is just for the next 6 weeks or so. And I find it also a little bit fun and keeps me sharp to play that. I mean, I've not been able to play, but I'm really eager to actually start playing again, just because it might feel really fresh. Does that make sense to you, Neil?
Absolutely. To touch on the negativity thing with Homer, I don't think it's you, Homer. I think it's the whole community, and it's the practices that they have. I think the whole community always start off from a negative base and progress from there.
Right, that makes sense. I want to just a little bit of, just a little bit of hindsight in that area. Negativity isn't necessarily bad, right?
No, maybe
I
not.
mean, if there's like, you can be critical, you can be negative about changes, and there's plenty of changes. I don't like the goalkeeper change, for example. I know for a fact I won't like it. I don't think it's a good thing that's out. But then again, if it's something, I just realize I when something changes, like, I mean, I'm now recovering from a surgery. There's plenty of things I can't do currently, right?
Yeah.
And the first thing I wake up is like, oh, this arm. Oh, I can't do this. I can't do this. I'm like, no, this is not how I want to spend the next 16 hours being awake at this. What can I do today? All right, maybe I can do, I don't know, a little bit of mixing. Maybe I can touch the piano for like, try one song for 10 minutes, see if that works. And I'm like, this is actually fun. That was good. All right, there's plenty of things that I can do, or there's plenty of things that do work. There's plenty of things that are good in this game. You know what? If I focus on that, it will make me much happier. I can still be negative about the changes. That's perfectly fine. And I think it's good to be critical on it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think it's a game. It needs to be fun. And fun you make yourself usually 99% of the time. Because you can't be dependent on your opponent to make the game fun for you in this game necessarily.
Yeah, absolutely. It's got to be fun. It's a computer game, as you say. If it wasn't fun, I frankly wouldn't play it. So I must be having fun somewhere in there. Goalkeeper movement for me hasn't. I don't use goalkeeper movement, and I never have done. In all honesty, it's probably hindered me a wee bit because I'm through on goal and I'm still delaying my shots. I'm waiting for the goalkeeper to move, and then I'll pick the corner. And I know I'm running through and I'm going, that keeper's not moving. I'll just boot it in the goal and it goes in. Sometimes keepers are saving it. So, but I don't use it. It's not affected me. I don't. Never really seen it as a positive, negative thing. As I've said in the previous pods, it could be it's very rewarding if you're good at it, but it can make you really stupid if you can't use it properly. I didn't mind it being in there in the game at all. I didn't mind it at all.
Yeah, I think I'm more on Graham's side that I did get tuned a little bit down, but they didn't have to nerf it to the ground, like make it non-existent.
That's the point, though, isn't it? Everything so far, they've not tweaked anything. They've massively changed everything that so far they've changed. They've never tweaked a thing yet.
Yeah,
but
so
they'll get there.
We're basically 3 months in the game now, and if I could summarize your guys' statement, that would be we're basically back to where we ended last year's game. Graham, is that what I can say roughly?
Roughly, I'd say it matches about 2 points. So this time last year it was roughly the same, because I remember when we got that big patch in January around Team of the Year that made the game really exciting again. And then at the end of the year it sort of tailed off to. So I don't know if I can't remember previous games if I had this cycle of this time of the year they made it really stodgy and defensive. Maybe it's with people coming onto it more and more, the servers don't cope. But if you were looking for a reference, pre-Team of the Year and end of cycle would be roughly where we're at, yeah, minus goalkeeper movement.
Yeah, we did enjoy the game last year at that point. I think I did. But I'm more like, I'm looking for, it's almost Christmas, people are getting the game. We just had Black Friday, so there's been an influx of players. Although I don't know, like, I don't trust any numbers I see on Twitch. I don't think that's a good grade, but I do see numbers on Steam popping up a little bit. I saw we get a lot of questions sent in by new players and a lot of people joining the Discord, for example, which of course, join us, patreon.com/FUTIN-review. And there's a lot of people that used to play FUT or FIFA come in now and like, hey, this does feel tremendously different. So what I wanted to do is quickly summarize where we're at. I think we're at that point. I want to also like highlight some major differences to the last year's game, which are still in the game. And I also want to see if we can go into controller setting and see if we can find a consensus for people to start off there. Neil, what do you want to say, Mike?
Just want to touch on if people are coming into the game, i.e., getting the game at Christmas, the market, specifically now and coming up to Christmas, is never going to be lower than it is. It's a great time to get in.
Knock on wood, though, because
buy players. You'll be able to get some players. The game is giving out coins. So you're getting roughly, 600-700 coins a game. Rush and squad battles and rivals, any game mode. You're now getting coins via rivals and champs, which they weren't giving you a couple of weeks ago. So I think they've recognised that they need to get out more coins and stuff. So
that's more coins. So that's good.
There is more coins available now. I think rivals last week I got 30k. Champs I got roughly the same, whereas week before it was a lot less. You can pick up players if you're going to go down a tradable route of buying some players to start your team off. There's plenty of players out there at not quite discard price, but there's plenty of good players that are cheap enough to buy and accessible, which is a positive.
Yeah. Is Claudia Pina one of those cards that's accessible, though, Graham?
Gold card really accessible. She's less than 6k at the moment. Don't know if she's spiked since last night, but picking on what Neil was saying, even that you don't need to buy all the special cards of the day. I'm still running 2 gold
Golds
cards.
Are still useful, yeah.
So they did promise they were slowing down the power curve. Cards would be more useful over a longer period of time. I still have gold Barella and gold Lautaro Martinez, and I've tried replacing them with multiple players and always go back to them because they still do the job that I want them to do. So, well, gameplay, we've covered that, and like I said, good foundation could be better. Content-wise, it is, and market-wise, it is a lot better than it has been per se, depending on your point of view. But like I said, cards they can last longer, so you don't need to come in and go, oh no, everybody's going to have these icons or these special cards. Because like I said, gold cards are still cutting it. There's plenty of
That's
evils.
a relief for me, though.
Yeah, there's still plenty of evils. Sorry, Neil.
The only thing is, if you are coming into the game as a grinder, excuse the pun, you've got no chance. You can't grind in this game. That's the big downside. There's the 84 times free are looking for 16 rare golds. Even your player picks are looking for 4 or 5 rare golds. You're not getting them. You're not getting a grind. That's the only negative in that side. There's not really a grind there for a new player or an existing player at the moment.
It's a fair point. I left when I had a non-informed team. So I forgot. I did have one change during Black Friday, though. If I'm allowed to boast a little.
Yeah, go on.
Drop it.
There was one pack was called, I don't even know how it's called anymore. It was 500 FIFA points or 50,000 coins, 440,000 coins, something like that. And it had 3 attackers in it, 85 rated plus. And on the Discord, Mario said, look at me, I bought 8 of those packs. And he packed like 6 icons from that. I was like, wowzers. And I promised not to do anything during Black Friday. Don't spend. I had 2 million coins because I sold up before I had to go to surgery. I'm not spending any of these coins, not doing anything. And maybe I open a pack or 2. But there's the 2 things. One, I can't touch the game. So if I pack something or I start playing, I'm getting addicted to the ball. I can't do anything with it, which is very frustrating. And second is, say I spend all the money, I don't get anything, then I feel like I have to start all over again after I fully back. So I was like, I'm not touching anything. Then I saw that message, like, maybe I do have to like open these packs. So I looked and they were like, you can do this 4 times. Like, okay, I can do those 4. I can buy 4 of those packs. That's fine. This was all right. Nothing much in it. But after those 4 packs, it refreshed. Got another 8 attempts. I'm like, oh, that's weird. Apparently, if they keep refreshing 5 days, you can do the 5 full refreshments of those packs. But of course, I didn't touch it yet. So I had 18 packs available. And yes, I did burn all through my 2 million coins by doing it. But in my last pack, I've had the new icon Henry in it. So, and that's 2.5 million, something like 2.3 million, I think currently, something like that. So it was probably worth it. But now I've got a whole heap of fodder. I'm still not touching the game for it. And I've got Henry to look forward to. But I was really worried that when I came back, like the Virgil van Dijk I had, the De Jong I had were just useless. but they dropped in price. But I think they're still viable, right?
I'm still using Van Dijk.
100% viable.
I'm using them in my starting team currently.
That's good news, though. So I think that's good for new players as well. It should be fairly easy to catch up. Another big difference that was at least when I stopped, was that bounce backs aren't a thing anymore. Please tell me, guys, bounce backs are still not in the game.
Sorry.
Do you want to tell them?
Was it like 3 weeks ago they just randomly appeared, and even the pros, the first FC Pro night was when it started, just randomly. There was no patch, no live updates, no nothing, and then it was just madness. It's not as bad as it was as it first came out, so they must be doing something in the background to fix this, because Anders stormed out of the FC Pro because you could just
I can see that happening.
the ball, like, you could pass it to somebody and there was no touch, so it just bounced off them and it would ricochet around 3 or 4 players before somebody finally got control of it. Let's say that it was really bad that night, but it slowly trickled. There is still bounce backs, but it's not as bad as it was. So unfortunately, there is bounce backs, but you've missed the worst of it.
It's remarkable the amount of shots that will hit a post and land straight at the attacker as well. That seems to be a new thing the last 3 or 4 weeks, where they'll just tap in a rebound. It won't bounce anywhere else, straight to the attacker.
Oh, I'm not sorry I missed that then. I hope it's getting better now, because that's the one thing I was really relieved about. Another thing that's removed, and I want to have your guys' opinion about how you feel about it, was the green time shots. They were removed at the start of the game. Still not in it. Of course, they're not in it. I was afraid the low-driven shot will be replacing it. I just want to have your guys' opinion and your take for new players as well. Was removing green time the good thing? Do you miss it? Or is it just, it's fine?
Either or for me. I was never a massive fan of it, nor was I a great user of it. But I would use it from time to time outside of the box. But you can live without it. I think.
Well, we have to as well. So
well, you have to live without it now, obviously. But I don't think it makes much of a difference. I'm a precision shot user, so I found that generally negated my use of green timing, because the precision was powerful, it was precise, that I didn't miss as much as I would have assisted. So if you're used to it, I think it's going to be a bit of a learning curve to obviously get accustomed to not having it. Yeah,
exactly.
But with that, you don't really need it. Like I'm saying, you can score finesses from like 40 yards at the moment with the way that the game is. So like, with one hand it's gone, but with the other hand there's other tools at your disposal that will make up for it.
Neil, are those tiers I'm seeing?
Sorry, no, I don't use. I don't know. I've never used green time. I think if there's one big positive that's come out of this year, is there doesn't seem to be just a sole meta way of scoring goals. I think you can score goals, apart from headers, of course, which are frankly useless. You can score low drivens. You can hit just a normal shot. You can hit finesse. You've got low finesse. You've got the green game changer shot as well, which is the other word for the Trivela. So many effective ways to score goals. If you've got a good striker with 90 plus shooting, like I used Henry. I used for basics. I had Diego Milito in my team for a good bit, and he could score lots of different goals in different ways. So I think it's a very positive not to have it. I think it's good that there's other ways to score. Remember when low driven came out last year? It was just unstoppable. All you had to do was tap the button and boom, goal. This year they're very effective, yes, but they're not as broken as they were. I think most shots seems to be a good variety. It's probably the best way I'd put it.
Yeah, I think I feel the same. They had to remove it to make everything feel more balanced. I hated that change, but in the first 6 weeks I was like, you know what? It's actually much better not having it in to make other things not feel as powerful. This is probably one of the best changes they've made over the last couple of years. Hopefully,
second that.
Well done. Well done. A little bit of positivity in between as well. Guys, talk about positivity. You get the game on Christmas, but we also have lots of patches over the last couple of weeks, more than we've ever had, I think. So that made me realize, well, playing sort of 1.5-handed squad battles lately, I should have a look at my control setups, at my presets. And I was like, with all the patches and with everything that changed, maybe it's time for a revision. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to go through the settings, quickly explain it for everyone that knew with those settings, of course. And else, it's a 5-second explanation. And I want to have like your guys' takes on it. I will take my takes. We'll put all our different settings into the show notes. But I also want to see if we can find a consensus, if we can find one common ground for players to advise using one option or another option. And I know this is always a hot topic, but let's see if we can get that going, shall we, in the next 15 minutes or so. First of all, you go to your settings, you take controller settings, and of course, the first things, there's presets. I think we all have to agree on the presets you got to apply is competitive, ain't it?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. It will gray out certain settings in your options, like auto shot assistant heading, etc. And then there's the big one that was also a big talking point this week. The first one that's not grayed out is shot assistance. You can turn that on manual, precision, or assisted. Grim, we had a little bit of a discussion this week, and we said, hey, in competitive play, they have to use precision shooting, but it's not on the competitive settings. What's that all about?
I don't know. I got confused, and I will admit that. I gave some bad advice. I thought it was required for Weekend League as well, but it's not.
It is required for the pro scene.
Yeah, so the pro scenes, that's what. So I did say to Tyler that I believed that you had to use it in Weekend League based on what they were saying, but basically the competitive settings says that obviously you said degrade out certain things, but for Weekend League and other modes, you can choose your shooting type, but in the pro level, you must use precision. And for me, I think it's the best option to use.
So you go for precision. Neil?
Same. I used precision shooting last year. I was finding that when I was on assisted shooting, I was using precision shooting anyway. I would always move my thumb on the direction of where I wanted to shoot anyway. So I thought I'd try it out. And I always use it. I don't have any problems with it. I've managed to miss corner flags, and I've not really hit MD in the stand on the opposite side yet. So I prefer it that way.
Wait until you have 1.5 hand to use properly.
Yeah, I use it certainly. It seems to be beneficial for me. There is chances where I'm through on goal and I'm going, if I was an assisted shooting, it'd be a goal. But more often than not, I prefer to use it because I'm doing it anyway. I'm using my thumb to control it anyway, so why not use it if I'm already doing it?
So I think the FUT IN review consensus would be a precision shooting. I currently have it set to assisted though. And that is because there's no more goalkeeper movement. I don't see a reason to risk not hitting that corner anyways, if they're not moving the goalkeeper. And of course, I only tried it like 20 minutes a day maximum. But I don't know if there's any advantage anymore if they don't move the goalkeeper anyways. And green time's gone anyways. Why wouldn't I let the AI help me shoot? But I just, I don't know, many people, like I was on precision, let's put it clear. I would always recommend precision because it might give you like that 1 inch you could pass the goalkeeper. But if the goalkeeper's not moving, why exactly am I forcing myself to extra work getting the ball in? It's just something I'm wondering.
See, I did think about switching after that discussion we had in the Discord because somebody was talking about moving to assisted for that reason. And I thought about it, and I will give it a try because this week I have been purposely trying different things out. I will give it a go, but I think again it's for me. I like control. I like that manual responsibility. If I mess it up, then it's on me. I don't want to mess up a chance, and the AI's messed it up where I know I could have. Like Neil says, I find when with precision, I score 8 out of 10 goals. And the 2 that I miss, it's my fault. Where I think when I'm using assisted, there's more goals that I would have scored precision that assisted doesn't score for me than if you know what I mean. I think
Yeah,
that
and that's
I would.
the thing I was wondering now, if that's still the case, honestly.
So I'll give it. Like I said, I am trying a lot of settings this week. I've been obviously I have been very negative and critical of the game, so I've been trying to figure out ways of improving the game for myself. So I'll give it a go and see how it works. Like I said, there's nothing to lose now, really. So I think it's just that more mindset of manual control is the biggest thing that puts me off using it.
Yeah, and if you put it on precision, I should say give it a week or so before you change it back, because you will have to get used to it if you're going from assistant.
Yeah, you definitely need to give it a couple of weeks getting used to it, because you don't have that control that the computer gives you. You will, for the first couple of days, you will hit every corner flag, every person in row Z if you're not paying attention. So if you're going to give it a go, precision, you do need to persevere with it. I use squad battles as my practice ground of getting particularly used to it.
Yeah, when I'm coming back, I drop so low that I can probably just use rivals for practice sessions. But that's quite right. So consensus is precision shooting. If you're on assisted, try it. Give it a week or so yourself. And well, you might have to come back on this, because I don't know the impact the patch had on this either. Let's go into passing, shall we? Because I think there's loads and lots of things you can set up with passes. But basically, outflare passes automatically off when you turn off competitive settings, turn on competitive settings, I should say. So we start with true pass assistance. And what it does, it will actually use the power more or less, depending on what you did. You can put it on semi, you can put it on manual. What do you guys have?
I have semi.
Yeah, assisted. I find that if you start doing manual passing, you're through on goal and you go to try and put a through ball through and it trickles off your player's feet. You just start shouting at the screen. So
yeah,
assisted.
We don't have to put much more time in that. I think assisted, same or semi, same for a lob true pass. You guys?
Semi.
So everything's semi-assisted for me in that sense, yeah.
Yeah, so with passes, I think this goes a long way though. Like ground pass, I have it on assistant even, if I'm honest. Because you can put it on assisted, semi, and manual. I have it on assisted. What about you guys?
The ground pass, try to see, probably semi ground pass. If I've got it on anything, I like to, like I said, be in control. I don't like the AI. I found this week, or the last 2 weeks, passing has become a bit more AI controlled. I find if you're trying to reset your play, get past a block, sometimes when I'm trying to play, this is why I've started footing about with all my settings, that you're trying to play that ball back into the midfield to get your whoever should get your playmaker or your deep line playmaker to get restarted. 9 out of 10 times my ball's going back to a centre back or a left back rather than the midfield. So this is why I've started footering. So I think I'm on semi.
Neil?
Same. I've just no assisted. Mine's is unassisted.
Mine as well, yeah.
It's easier. It's hard. It's different for shooting because you've got a second to think about. Passing, you tend to just pass, don't you?
Yeah, so
mine's
I also would like highlight a little bit of a modifier. So I usually either get a player towards me using the R1 button or send them away from me using the L1 button. So that way I can hardly miss the player I'm aiming at anyways. That's why I have an unassisted. I very often use the low-driven pass by holding R1 and drive the pass towards my players.
I use that all the time. Ping pass,
exactly.
ping pass all the time, pretty much. Yeah.
Yes, and what I also do, and that's why the other one is on semi, is when I want to pass like one defender from another defender, and I want that player to run forward, I use a true pass between my defenders. So
puts the ball in front of them.
Puts the ball in front of them, but that one is on semi, and the manual pass is on assisted. So when I just pass between them with the, I don't know, it's the X button on PlayStation, that would be the assisted one. But when I want to get a little bit more patient, I definitely use the triangle button or the Y button on the Xbox to true ball just 2 meters in front of him. And then if you look at my statistics, you're like, hey, he's a true ball merchant. Well, actually, there's no true ball between the lines, but it's just to get some pace going in the game. So that might be a little bit of a insight on why some of these statistics don't really matter and why I put this on assisted. Cross assistance, guys. I don't want to be that guy, but I don't cross in this game at all. I think it's too risky. I think it's too risky to get a counter in. So I've got it on assistant, but I can't honestly imagine the last time I did it. What about you guys?
Objectives only. I don't cross it. It's a waste of time.
Assisted for me. I'll use crosses every now and then. I found a wee niche way of getting across the work. It's not 100% foolproof, but at the corner of a box, if you can get a step or two in it, and if you're sort of like diagonally facing the back post, you can get a good cross if you've got the right runner going in. But it is assisted because where I like my passing to be semi, like I have more control or 50-50 control. I find semi or manual crossings wild. It's a completely different ball game where the control element that's non-existent.
The curve can be really weird, eh?
Yeah.
When you do it on
So assisted is what I use for the cross assistance.
Yeah, definitely assisted for everyone then. Low pass assistance. I've got it on semi, but I know many people have it on assisted. What about you guys?
Semi again. I
Yeah,
just like control.
Mine's is unassisted. Mine's is unassisted.
Yeah. Any particular reason or hardly use it? Don't matter.
No reason why. I just leave the settings as B for that kind of stuff.
So I'm going to say for the review recommendations for this one, low pass assistance is going to be semi. Pass receiver lock. Just to explain, but that is when is the receiver, the player you're passing to, when are they locked in? You can put it on late. You can put it on animation start, which is new. You can or it's not new, but you can do it on power up as well when you pass it. I've got it on late, but it's also just because I'm used to this, and I always select the running player anyways. What about you, Graham? Let's start with you.
So this is one of the settings I've really tried playing about with this week. I am using animation start at the moment. That says I keep finding at the moment when I'm trying to break through a deep defence, if the going round the byline for a cutback's not on, I like to try and get it back into the midfield, restart play. I keep finding passes are going astray, even unassisted. So I've been trying animation start to try and get a different feel for the game. I can't say I've really noticed big change, so I was going to try and go back to late, I think, on that one.
Neil?
Late. It's always been in late. It's the way the game's always been for me, so I've never changed it and I've never experimented.
The consensus is definitely on late, but there's some experimentation going from Graham. I also want to highlight that if you have player lock on and use someone that uses player lock, this doesn't matter too much either because you'll probably be locking on manually anyways. So it's a little bit of mindset. But I would say late is easier to learn anyways. I'm going to switch some settings on because like the switching settings, I think most of them are preferential. Also what is very much preferential is precision pass sensitivity. You can put it on normal. I think you can put it on high. High is definitely a little bit more finicky, I suppose. I don't think it matters too much, but I know some players have put it on high. Some put it on normal. I think this is something you just got to try, right? What do you guys think?
Yeah,
Mine's is on the basic setting, yeah.
I have it on normal. I did try high. Then again, it's one of the ones where, like the cross, it made it too weird. Where you think you're going to get more control out of it, there was less, to be honest. So I've kept it on normal, but I have trialed. Like I said, I've been playing with all the settings, but I find normal's the better one.
No. Let's go try it, but I think consensus is normal. The one I am going to die on a hill with my opinion about this is going to be the defending clearance assistance. I think, and I'm so curious what you guys will say, this has to be on directional, period.
Yes, correct.
All right. I did not expect that, but that's good news for me, though. Why is that? If you want to head the ball away, if this is on directional, you can decide which area you will head it in. If this is on assistant or on off, I don't even know what the other one is. Manual, classic. It's called classic. If it's on classic, the AI will decide where to head the ball, where to clear the ball in, which absolutely sucks. Yeah, so I think this has to be on directional. You got to get used to when you have defending a ball by shielding and heading a ball, for example. You just decide where it has to go. It's easy to learn, and I think it's a must-have to have this one on directional if
Absolutely.
you want to perform. So, that's a lesser
No,
discussion that I expected.
it's because if it's for corner. I mean, I'll never press the pass. I always press the clearance button for headers. I'll never press the knockdown header, the pass header. I'll always play the clearance header because you're clearing the ball essentially, aren't you?
Yeah.
So frankly, I want to know where it's going, whether it's the right way or not. But I want my input on where it's going. So always directional.
Yes, and also helps with passing the ball back to your goalkeeper if you want to be
Yes.
that kind of player. But that's a different discussion. Defending. Of course, we have different ways of defending. That is advanced defending or tactical defending. This one's controversial. Let's start with you guys. Let's start with Neil. Neil.
We've discussed we're 3 months into the game.
Yeah.
I've switched between the two several times. I can't settle on one. Maybe it's because I'm bad at defending. I've went between the two. I've probably stuck more with advanced than anything else because advanced is the one where it will decide to tackle for you, isn't it?
No, so with advanced defending on, when you press the normal stand button, the X button, you will attempt a shoulder challenge.
Sorry,
and-
okay, I prefer the other side then.
Yes, and if you press the standing tackle, you will do a standing tackle.
No, I prefer
the
the
other
where
one
you-
is just you press the button and the computer decides what the action is going to be.
I prefer that. I pretty much find anyway that it always does a standing tackle, sticks his leg out anyway from pressing tackle. Doesn't tend to shield the ball or shoulder the ball anyway. But I have switched between the two so many times this year so far, and I'm still not settled in one.
Great.
I'm advanced. I did try tactical last year, but it wasn't for me. Again, I like control, so I'm advanced. But at the moment, using advanced, and if you've got a Bruiser Plus, it's really good for manual defending. So
Yeah.
I'd always recommend that.
I tend to agree with Graham here. Advanced defending, because you want to have a shoulder barge easier if you have like a strong player. You don't necessarily want to tackle. Especially the way this game works is where they can just have short players go into the box, dribble around you. If you let the computer decide, they will more often do a manual tackle or a standing tackle into it. If they walk into the standing tackle, you will get a penalty most of the time. If you do shoulder barge, it's really hard to get a penalty. So it's much easier to actually, if he positions well, to defend properly and now hold the ball without bouncing it back, nor causing your risk of getting a penalty conceded.
Which is quite.
However, you got to learn it a bit. Sorry.
Yeah,
I
but
think I'll give it another go.
as you're saying about the penalties, it's quite rife now. Referees are very, very given with penalties at the moment. Very prominent, even on the pro scene. Tex in the first week got a penalty given against him for a standing tackle, which was a nothing. And then I can't remember what pro it was, but similar thing. Tried to do a standing tackle in the box and barely touched the guy, and the penalty was given. So advanced just for that, the shoulder challenge is a lot better.
Yeah, I agree. Professional fouls, I've got to turn on. I don't think it's a necessity to discuss this too much, but I don't see the reason why not to have it on. It's just why
I still
not
don't know.
if you
I still don't know how to use it.
I'm not going to tell you on this show either. Graham, do you want to add?
I have it on as well. It's not the nicest tactic, but it is something sometimes you need the dark arts. So
Exactly. That's why I'm not going to mention it on the show, but it's definitely something I have been caught doing at times. Let's put it like that.
I'm not a fan of it, but I will admit I have used it a few times. Less than a handful, but I have used it. Just like I said, it's a dark art. It happens in a real game. Sometimes if you have to take that calculated risk of, do you let them go right in and hope your keeper bails you out, or do you take a bit of control, take the booking and reset and go again? So I've got it on.
Exactly. And even if you get a red card doing it, you can always say, what's this, ref? Well, if you actually two charge, like tackle them, you can't say much either. So it's a good way to get yourself out of a situation at times. Pass block assistance is one of the other ones I am willing to die on that hill defending this. This has to be on off. And I don't know.
It's on at the moment for me, but again, I'm trialing things. So I did have it off, but I'm trialing it on. It is really strong on. I will admit it does a bit of lifting for you, but I probably will go back to off. But it is on at the moment.
Neil,
What is the default setting?
the default setting is on.
Mine's is on then, because I've never turned it off.
All right, so the difference, maybe I should say this. Well, the difference is if you have it on, right? So it is assistant. If you have it turned on, your computer could decide to make step in and tackle for you, right? Like Graham says, I can see the appeal because these defending AI is going stronger. Here's the reason I have turned it off. Because if I come against an opponent and I play around the box and I see them step in twice or 3 times, I know it's on for them. I know for a fact that if I make a skill move before they step in automatically, I'm through on goal. I can double tap, easy score, 99% of the times. If it's off, I decide when I do the tackle. And I can also trick my opponent in making a move or not. So on higher levels, if this is on, I think you will step out far more often. You open yourself for true balls and you will open yourself for skill moves when players are hovering around your box.
I'm going to try it. I'm going to change it today and I'll let you know how I got on.
It is the one thing I'm always like, please turn this off because this will make you leak goals. If you're playing against an opponent that hovers your box, your players will step out far too often because if they want to make a tackle and they will break the defensive line and will make gaps in your defense, which if people are playing defensively against you, that's actually really good because you will have options to just walk through and take a shot in because they have already stepped out before that.
Handy to know. I'll try it. I'll change it today.
Auto switching, I don't want to move too much about that because I think all these things, and I have so much discussion about that, auto switching on air balls, move assistant, right stick switching, classical ball relative, player relative, sensitivity. There is no golden rules here. I know many people say, content creators put it out that these are my settings, that I can show my settings. We will put our settings into the community, in the notes, of course. But my opinion is there is no wrong or right setting here. This is all preference. And for example, I use ball relative since day one. And if I look at any video, it says you have to be player relative. I am used to switching according to where the ball is, and I switch manually, so for me it's fine. And the right stick switching sensitivity for me is on maximum. And I know this default is something like 4, for example. But I would never recommend anyone starting this game to put it on maximum either. So these are preferential. But maybe Neil's got a different opinion about this.
I was going to say the opposite. I found right stick switching sensitivity, if I put it down as low as 2 or 3, I'm finding a lot more success with it than higher. I've changed mine quite a lot. Not massively, but the lower for me, the better it is for me. I don't right switch too much. Maybe that's why. And it's something that requires a lot of practice. But the lower for me, for a player who's not as good defending as such. So I'm in Division 5, and I've been between Division 5 and 6 since pretty much the start of the game. So I'm okay. Lower settings for me seems to be more beneficial. Why? I don't really know. I seem to have a better input.
That's what I said. I think most of these settings are just pure preference.
Yes, I'd certainly have ball. I'll have ball relative certainly as well. Player relative, you end up having to switch 3 or 4 times to get to the player nearest the ball. It's frustrating.
The only thing I do, the auto switching move assistant settings, which is of course, if you let's say you switch to a player, you pass to the player, you switch to that player, the player will walk into that direction for either no time when it's on none, low, or a high time. I've got that turned on low or on none because I tend to control the player moving. So I don't want my AI to move even further or not. I just want them to move according to when I selected them. And I've got them on late first and use 99% of the time I've got them player locked. I'm using to controlling them already. I don't want anyone to take off. So I've got that on. But then again, if you don't player lock and you got the other setting on high instead of or on early or an animation start, for example, it doesn't make much sense putting this on none either. So that's why I said most of these settings are just preference. What do you think, Graham? Any layouts for you there?
So I have it on player. I've admitted to you in the past it's something that I really struggle with. Right stick switching. Obviously, my right hand is a bit damaged with disabilities and arthritis and emphasis, so I don't have that great flexibility in my thumb. So I struggle with it. So I have it on player and two. I just have it on two because it's a bit more precise. It's a bit slower, so I can get used to the switching, but I will give ball relative, see if that improves my ability to do it. Maybe that's where I struggle with it being player rather than ball. You know,
The thing is, when ball relative, the ball's usually in the middle of the pitch. So when you flick right top, for example, you know from the middle of the pitch, you'll usually be selecting the player on the right top of the screen.
yeah,
Right? So that's why. And I do like the one where the right stick switching is, I think, on adaptive, because I think that is a cool setup to use. What it basically does is the longer you hold it, the further away the player is you select, right? But I think it's too slow for a competitive game. Like, it's good to learn yourself how to play right stick switch, for example, because you can actually see an animation. You're now selecting this one, you're now selecting the other one. Oh, now you're selecting the one on the side of the screen. But it takes a little bit too long. And if you just, with my sensitivity, it always goes to the side of the screen anyway. So that's why I put it on ball relative and on side. Neil,
What about goal side? Would you recommend that for
sorry,
players?
on which one?
What about is it goal side? He's like ball side or goal side is one, isn't it? For
Is
player
that?
switching. Am I missing something? Is there not a goal
Oh,
side?
yeah, that's sorry. That's next player switching. Yes. So
Yeah,
next player
player
switching,
switching.
there's three options. I'll just going to rephrase this, but classic is the best player will be selected, and this is when you click the L1 button, by the way, or the LB button. It doesn't have to do anything with the right stick switching. You press the LB button, it
Oh yeah,
switches
yeah.
according to these rules. So if you click the L1, this will be the player determined by various factors, whatever. The goal side is the player setting. This setting favors players on the goal side of the ball. So basically, it goes to defenders before it goes to midfielders, right? And close to the ball is the one setting favors players who are close to the ball. I have it on classic, but I would actually recommend for people, because I switch right stick switch far more than I use the L1 button, right? What I would recommend, honestly, would be closest to ball. Because when you're close to the ball, you usually are the player that's in front of the ball and was able to like block a shot, for example. And in this game, the manual, if you don't select the defender, they won't block the shots. You can run into them and lose the ball. But if you take a shot, they won't block the shot, right? But if you put this on close to the ball and you click L1, you would be the right player in front of the player with the ball, being able to block the shot. So for players that have trouble right stick switching, for example, like Grim said, or players that don't right stick switch as often as you do, for example, Neil, I would actually recommend closest to ball for the L1 switching.
Okay.
try later.
But it's just from a coaching perspective, that's how I would learn to people. Like I said, rest I think is all preference, which also goes for player lock. I know this is a controversial take maybe, but player lock, I think you can use it. It's definitely an added feature. I can see it get nerfed in the future as well, but it will open up. But it's also a hard thing to learn. And my personal opinion is it's also the last thing you should learn in any like coaching trajectory. It's added value. It's a cherry on top. It's good, but there's so much more things you could need to focus on before you're like at that level. So I've had it on, and you use it by clicking both of the sticks, right? I don't think it's a necessary thing to have on, anyways. And if you're someone that clicks the sticks a lot and you don't want to use it anyways, just turn it off. Just my 2 cents. Okay.
I have it on, but I don't use it. Like I said, again, with my hand being obviously badly hampered by my disabilities, I don't have that thumb mobility or speed. So, time I get it clicked and I start trying to flick for the player, the guy that's on the ball or the woman that's on the ball is normally closed down, so I don't get the benefit of it. It is on. I tried practicing it in squad battles, but it's again, I don't have that mobility in my hand to get any benefit out of it. So if you've got good hand reactions and everything, then I see the benefit from it. But it's personally, it's on, but I don't use it.
Maybe I have to turn it off once I'm fully back, though, and I've not recovered. Well, never know. Neil?
Never used it. I know how to use it, but I've never used it. I don't think it would benefit me. I don't think I'd get much out of it, and I'd have to learn it. And there's other things for me.
Yeah,
I could
that's my
learn
thing. I think
better.
it's better to
I
learn
think that's
defending,
it.
to learn runs, to do manual triggering.
So
then
only
there's-
manual triggering this year's been the thing that I've picked up on and I've learned to use more than anything else, and that's good. I'm sticking off with that.
Awesome, good to hear. The other ones I'm gonna skip because most of the settings are. Do you want rumbling on? I think it's called rumbling or whatever. Vibration feedback, trigger effects if you have a PlayStation, stuff like that. The only thing is analog sprint. I don't see basically what it does if you have it turned on. The further you push the button, your trigger, the harder you sprint. I don't see any advantage of not having 100% sprint on when you touch it. So I would always say turn this off. Is it like it? I think there's two ways: you either sprint or you don't sprint. I don't see us in between in this game. So, but feel free to use it. But with my old hands, I prefer to have maximum input straight from the bat. And if I use a pro controller, I always have it set to go the minimum distance to get full 100% anyways. So it would be at 100% even if I turn it on right away as well. So that's it. I want to close this show off by, of course, saying it's good to be back. Hopefully I'll be back playing soon enough as well, because it's getting kind of annoying. I really want to try the Han Ricard. This show will be out, I think, on a Thursday. This show will be out on a Sunday, actually. And it will actually be out on a Wednesday already if you're a Patreon subscriber. So check out patreon.com/FUT-IN-review because, we bring content out really early compared to the public releases now. So might be an added benefits. Plus, you could discuss all these things and tell us how wrong we are at certain settings. So that's always good to have. Also, what came out was our Spotify statistics. And it makes me really proud to say officially we have made it to the top 5% of video podcasts on Spotify in the world for the second time in a row. So that's a huge achievement for us. I'm really happy with that. Thank you guys as well. And thank, of course, the whole team. But thank everyone that's listening and watching the show specifically for, helping us get there and keep supporting us. It means the world. And it's, it was good news to hear when you can't do anything and you get a message from Spotify saying those news. So appreciate that. And if you're listening and watching the show, you are definitely the best fans ever because we have been a show that's been shared on Spotify more than 98% of all other shows on Spotify. So when you listen to this and you send it to a friend, it not only helps us get a listen extra, but it also helps us get noticed by Spotify and, just grow the show tremendously. So you sharing is caring and it's really important for us. So keep dropping those comments, keep sharing this show to your friends, family, and of course, keep listening, please. And thank you so much for all that you've done so far. Anything closing words from you guys?
As always, I say every week, just keep having fun, keep enjoying the game, and stick with it. There's a game there.
Encouraging words. Great. No, like you said, thank you everybody for listening. It's great to see how the show's doing so well. Nice to have you back on as well, John. You've been sorely missed. And as Neil said, just keep having fun. Like we've said, the foundations, there is a good game. You just need to work at it and you will get there at some point.
Definitely. Well, I close out shows a little bit different than Shaq does. Shaq is, by the way, on a little holiday, so he'll be back in a couple of weeks now. When we close the show, there will be a whistle, and then there's, of course, the infamous drop it from all of us. See you next week. It's good to be back, but now it's time for us to drop it.
Drop it.
Drop it.
Still not dancing, Neil.
T. Interview.